Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Algebra 51, Solving the Mysteries of Algebra. And today we're going to be studying part of 2.03, Quick Graphs of Linear Equations. Now, what we're looking here is a lot of people graph with what is a very easy way of doing it, which is the y using, we have to find the y-intercept. So if the graph of an equation, let's just see if I can. So if the graph of an equation is intersects with the y-axis at the point of 0 and b, then b is the y-intercept of the graph. And that's how that works. When you find the y-intercept, for example, if the b, let's say this b here equals 0, let's say it equals 5, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be right there. That would be y-intercept. The y-intercept would be y. That's where the line passes through the y-axis. This is the y-axis right here. And when a line passes through it, that point is called the y-intercept. All right? Now, a lot of people like to graph with what we call the slope-intercept form. And usually write it in this fashion here, y equals mx plus b. So how do we graph a slope and intercept form? Well, it's very easy. So what we're going to try to do here is we're going to try to use this formula to plot a graph on this line. And this is a very popular one because it's very easy. So how do you graph? How to graph in slope-intercept form. Now the first step, step 1, you're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form. And that is this right here, y equals mx plus b. That is slope-intercept form right here. Now, that means if you got something like 2x plus 3y equals 6, that's standard form. What's going to happen here is you're going to have to rewrite that, solve for y, and put it in this form. Okay, all right. So you find the y-intercept after you write it in the equation in slope-intercept form. Step 2, you're going to find the y-intercept, and that's the biggie right there. It's not hard to find. It's this right here. This is the y-intercept. And use it to plot the point. You're going to use this to plot the point where the line crosses the y-axis. Now, step 3, find the slope and use it to plot the second point. Now, the slope, where is the slope? The slope is right here, this m, which really stands for, you might have seen this before, rise over run. Okay, that is your slope. That's your slope. It goes up and over a little bit. And that's how you find the slope. Once you find the slope, you now move that. You're going to now find the slope, and you're going to draw a line through the 2 points. And when you find that slope, you're going to use it to plot the second point. And you do that. Let me see if I'm going to slide down here. You do that by, let's say the y-intercept is here, and you go 1, 2, 3 over 2. You find that little point, and then you draw that line right through it. That's how that works. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line through the 2 points, and that's all you got to do. Once you find 2 points, you've got the line. Now I'm going to bring these up. Because this is another way of writing it. You saw me write that earlier, and it's gone. It disappeared. I'll use my laser pointer. Now, ax plus b is standard form. Sometimes they will write it in that format. And then you would have to solve for y to get that y-intercept. That's all this is a standard form. And there's other ways of plotting even with standard form. You've also got the x-intercept. Now, that happens when you want to find a line that passes through the x-axis right here. Could be here. That could be your x-axis right there. Now example 1, if you look at example 1 here, it's almost written in the y equals mx plus b form. Almost, not quite. See this, there's a 1 over here. See the 1? See that little 1 right here? This needs to be brought over to this side. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to subtract 1 here and subtract 1 here. And this is going to become y, and the 1 goes away on this side. And then this will be 2/3 x minus 1. And now we have it in y equals mxb form. That's y equals mx plus b. Now, to graph it, it's very easy. You know what the y-intercept is. It's this, -1. So we're going to go ahead and plot it, and I'm going to use red to plot it. Now, this is 0 here, so we're going to -1, which is right here. Draw a big one so you can see it. And now we have to go rise over run. This is your rise. This is your run. So this, we're going to go up 2, and we're going to go over right 3. So we're going to start over here. We're going to start up 2, 1, 2, over 3. And that would be right there. So let's do that. We're going to go up 1, 2, over 3. 2, 2, 3. There we go. And we'll draw that one. I'm drawing these dots very big so you can see them. And then you just draw a line through it. And you've done it. And that's how you do a slope-intercept form graph. Now next we're going to do is we're going to talk about doing it in standard form. Now this is standard form right here. This one right here is standard form. Now it's written, and let's slide it on up a little bit. Now method, here's how, the first thing you have to do is the equation is already written in standard form. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to let y equal 0. So we're going to say y, let's say let y equal 0. Now I come here and I say, okay, so if y equals 0, then everywhere on this graph here where you see y, you're going to put a 0 there, and which will make that whole thing go to 0. So this becomes, let's do this in blue. We're going to say 2 times 0 minus 3x equals 6. Now, with that, you know that this right here goes to 0. So this right here becomes negative 3x equals 6. And now you just divide by negative 3. And this will become x equals negative 2. Now, you know that the one of the points is actually on, tells you right here, this is where the x-intercept is. If y equals 0, then that's the x-intercept. If x equals 0, then you know what the y-intercept is. So if you're going to plug it, now you can just say this. Well, let's go ahead and plug that in. Okay. Now, next, I know that now that I know that x is 0, when I know it is when y equals 0, let's find out when x equals 0. We're going to say let x equal 0. Now, in this case, now we're going to write 2, the equation is 2y, so 2y minus 3, and let's see what else we got there. That's 3x, but x equals 0. We're letting x equal 0. Excuse me. I'm going to do that over again. I want to keep my notes clear. X equals 0. So now we know that x equals 0 here. And we're going to put 0 equals 6. Now this portion here, we know that this goes to 0, so this becomes 2y equals 6. And if you divide by 2 on both sides, then y equals 3. So if y equals 3, we know that's that point is right up here, 1, 2, and 3. Now we can just, I'm going to make the line red since we did the other way around. Now you take this right here and you draw a line through those points, just like that. Now that's the cool thing about standard, because you don't have to do this up and over. See, I'm okay with the way this is done. I see the plus in this. Not my cup of tea. I got to do the problem twice. Here, I just have to make the formula like this, and I've already got it ready to go. I can go -1 and go up and over 2. Boom, I'm done. This one here, you got a couple of problems. That's why I'm not a big fan of this one, but it's not horrible. So, let's see. Now we go. Method 2, using slope-intercept form. Now, if you use a standard form, let's move this problem down here real quick, and we'll do, let's see, copy, let's say duplicate, and I'll move it on down here. We're going to graph the same problem, but it's already written in standard form, but now we got to write it in this, we got to do it in slope-intercept form. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to subtract, add 3x here to both sides. And then this right here will become, because I got to solve for, I got to make it into y equals mx plus b. So now this becomes 2y equals, and I'm going to switch these two around and hope that nobody gets lost when I do this, but you can do this, 3x plus 6. Because 2 plus 3 equals 3 plus 2. It's the same thing. So you can switch them around. You got to be careful with the minuses, but in this case we didn't have it, so I didn't worry about it. So now we're going to divide the whole thing by 2. And you can do it this way. And this becomes y equals 3 over 2 x plus 3. 3 halves x plus 3. So now we're going to plot this. This right here is your y-intercept right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to, what are you going to do? You're going to, in order to plot this whole thing, the first thing you do is take this y-intercept and place it up there. So we'll come up here, we'll put it, I'm going to do this one in red, plus 3. So we go up 1, boom. There's your y-intercept right there at y equals 3. Now, because if this equals 0, this whole thing turns to y. Now, all you got to do is take the next step and go up and over, up 3 and over 2. So you're going to take this thing, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, and over 2. And that'll be your point right there. So let's do that. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and over 2. And I'll just put a line right there. And then I draw my line through. And that's it. Done. See, that was a little bit easier. Now, the only thing is, if it's written in standard form, you have to rewrite it as y equals mx plus b, and your plotting's pretty easy. This one here, you don't have to rewrite it. It's already written in standard form. You can turn, but you just plug in 0 in either spot. Some people like it that way. Some people like it that way. Any one of these is fine. If it works better for you to do it this way, then do it that way. Okay, next we're going to graph horizontal and vertical lines. Now, if you look here, if you look right here, this is all you have of the equation. There's no y equals mx plus b. There's no ax plus bx equals c or anything like that. That's all you have. Nothing else. And you're like, wait a minute, there's no variables? Well, there is a variable. That variable just happens to be every number, and they all have the same answer at the end. So, but because of that, it makes, depending on if the constant value is applied to the y-axis or the x-axis, that determines whether or not it's a vertical or a horizontal line. For example, x equals 3. If you draw the line here, this is x equals 3. Well, you just come over here and all you just put a little dot right there on x equals 3, and you've done it. You managed to draw in that, but where do you draw the line? You have no other lines to connect to. Well, what if y equals anything? If it equals anything, it's always going to be x equals 3. So every line on this thing, right here, every line, so it's a horizontal, it's a vertical line. Everywhere you see where x equals 3, y is going to, whatever y is, x is going to equal 3 every time. So it's a vertical line. So x is a vertical line. Okay, so now we look at y. Okay, y equals -2. And I'm going to do that one in, I haven't used green in a while. All right, so if I come up here and hit y equals -2, which is right here, well, everything to every line, every value this way, and every value this way. Every value this way. That makes this a horizontal line. And that's all you need to know about these. These are pretty easy. If x is a constant, it's a vertical line. And if y is a constant, then it's a horizontal line. That's all you gotta know. And it's that easy. Now I'm going to give you a quiz, and I want you to pause and graph the equation. Now this is written in what? It's written in standard form. 2y plus 4x equals 4. I don't care how you do it. You can do it either way. I'm going to show you both ways when I come back. But in the meantime, go ahead and do this problem and tell me what you think. Okay, we're back. Now we're going to start with the first one. First one, very easy. I'm going to say let y equals 0. So this becomes 4x, let's see, 2 times 0 for 2y plus 4x equals 4. So that becomes 4x equals 4, and this becomes x equals 1. Wow, you can't get no easier than that, right? So there's your x portion. So you come up here on the graph, and you plot x equals 1. Plot it right there. Next, you're going to plug, then we're going to come back here, and this will be easy to let x equals 0. Now this becomes 2 times y plus 4 times 0 equals 4. And I just took this, all I did was plug in this 0 right here. And that became 0 here. All right, so next is going to be, you're going to say 2y equals 4, so y equals 2. That's pretty easy. I'm not going to go through the motions of all these at this point, because you're smart guys. You know what's next, right? Good. Now we know y equals 2, and I plotted the x equals 1. Now I plot the y equals 2 right here, and then draw the line between the two. Bam! Did it. How fast was that? That was pretty fast. You could also have done this. You could have said 2. Let's try this one. You could have said 2y plus 4x equals 4. And let's see if I'm doing this correctly. Divide the whole thing by 2, and this will become 2. it'll become y plus 2x equals 2. And then this becomes, you're going to subtract 2x to both sides. And I'm going to switch them around because I'm going to write it in the y-intercept form. Well, I'll just do it like this. Y equals 2 minus 2x. And then we'll rewrite it as y equals negative 2x plus 2. I just flip the positive. Make sure you bring that negative around with you. Now you go back and plot it, and you plot it at y equals 2. Whoa, look at there. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? Okay. We'll do it in red. I think red will stand out better for this. Now, I'm going to see if I do it correctly. That means as a matter of fact, why don't we do this? I'm going to take this portion here, duplicate it, and bring it on down here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Now see if they look alike, okay? Okay, so we have y-intercept equals 2. And now we're going to go down. This is also, remember this right here is also can also be written as negative 2 over 1x plus 2. Now this that means this is your rise, this is your run. So it's a negative 2. So you're going to go down 2 and over 1, and that'll bring us right here. And you draw that line. And let's see. They look alike. Look at there. It worked out both ways. And you could do it either way you want. You can solve for y and then do what I did here. Or you can just plug in 0 in each one of these, and it'll work that way too. Okay, what I'd like to say, add one more thing though. It's good that you watch these videos. I'm glad that you're watching these videos. The only thing I need you to understand, though, is it's very important that you write this stuff down along with me. Because if you're doing these problems, as you're doing these problems, you are processing them in your head as you're writing them down. And you got to it's not so much, I mean, it's like, don't treat it like watching TV. You've got to do these problems. If you don't do these problems, you're not going to learn how to do these problems. Sometimes, I may tell you something that might answer a small question you had, and I get that. But most of the time, especially if you're trying to take a test, I would suggest that you write these problems down as I'm doing them. And sometime down the road, we're going to start at our website. We're going to have problems based on these questions that you can try out. That'll have the answers that you can try anytime you want. But right now, it's important as you're doing these problems with me on these training videos. Don't just watch them. Write the problems down because it's very helpful for you to do that. And that's all I got to say. Thank you very much. Good night.